What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. And this one is a shocker. This is a shocker. Undefeated 3-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, who is the reigning unified welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely acknowledged and recognized as the #1 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford is 40 wins, no losses, no draws, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He's 36 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terence Bud Crawford had his biggest, most marquee, most lucrative fight, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, when he took on and defeated former unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Earl the Truth Spence Jr., who at the time when they fought, Errol Spence was widely considered and acknowledged as the top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world. Errol Spence is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. As you see, he has that loss in that second column. Terence Crawford, he dominated this fight. This was a fight that I keep reiterating was a massive fight. The biggest fight in a decade, the most anticipated fight in a decade. It was on paper seen to be a 50-50 fight if there ever were one. And Terence Crawford proved it wasn't. Terence Crawford dominated the fight, dropped Errol Spence in the second round, twice in the 7th, and stopped him in the 9th. He absolutely dominated this fight. And they're supposed to have an immediate rematch because they negotiated that the loser has the right to activate an immediate rematch and the winner has to fulfill that obligation, but automatically will get a bigger share of the pie. Now, 6.5 months later, Errol Spence came out and he made some statements that he had a cataract that was preventing his vision. It was hindering his vision. He also had a broken rib that he simply could not get the injections in his side to ease the pain. So a month out before the fight, he couldn't even spar. He couldn't train properly, obviously. And we know that they fought at 147. Errol Spence has been complaining that making 147 pounds is not easy for him. So Errol Spence came out with all of these statements, and that didn't go over well with Terence Bud Crawford. As Terence Bud Crawford, he said, "I heard it all now. You discredited me. I've heard it all now. I'm glad it's over with. I'm glad we're done. I wish you well in the future." Meaning that I'm moving on from this rematch because the time seemed to have elapsed. They were supposed to have an arena rematch by December. Errol Spence even stated that he wanted the rematch December at 154. But now the problem is Showtime decided to get out the business of the sport of boxing after 37 years in a short period of time. Just overnight, they just made this decision. They said, we're going to fulfill the rest of our obligation for 2023, but we're done with the sport of boxing, which left the premier boxing champion, founder and advisor Al Heyman's stable of fighters in no man's land. Just have to try to find another network. And they did a partnership now with Amazon Prime. But it took time. It took a lot of time. So now, did that contract elapse where Terence Crawford can move on? It seems like it, because now Errol Spence, he responded, "Stop being emotional, let's run it back." Terence Crawford didn't respond to that. But Terence Crawford is responding to moving up to 154, but not for a rematch with Errol Spence. He wants to fight the newly crowned WBO junior middleweight world champion, Australian superstar boxer, who is the son of a legend, Tszyu, that being Tszyu, who's 24 wins, no loss, and no draw, 17 wins by way of knockout. He is 29 years of age, 5'8", with a 70-inch arm reach. Now, he's been elevated to the WBO champion because the former now undisputed junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer Jermell Ironman Charlo, who has 35 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'11" and a half with a 73.5-inch arm reach. He got an opportunity to dare to be great. He jumped up 2 weight classes, fought against the 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer, who was the undisputed super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez. And he lost. He got dropped in the 7th round, then lost a unanimous decision to Canelo Alvarez. But in doing so, the WBO, World Boxing Organization, they stripped Jermell Charlo his WBO title. Why? Because Jermell Charlo had a mandatory in Tszyu that he was already scheduled to fight Tszyu and to, honor his mandatory challenge. But Jermell Charlo broke his hand in the midst of that. They were supposed to actually fight March of 2023, but Jermell Charlo broke his hand and he couldn't participate. Well, when his hand healed, he didn't fight Tszyu. He decided that he was going to go and chase the massive opportunity, and chase history, which was to become undisputed in 2 separate weight classes and face off against Canelo Alvarez. And he lost, but he also lost his belt. And so that's who Terence Crawford initially had his sights set on. His sights was set on Jermell Charlo, but obviously that didn't pan out. So now he's looking to fight against Tszyu. Tszyu was elevated to the champion. Tszyu felt like Jermell Charlo was ducking him. Clearly, he wasn't ducking him to fight Canelo Alvarez, who's 60 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout, and is widely considered the face of the sport of boxing. And he's highly decorated. You don't duck Tszyu to fight Canelo Alvarez. That's just not possible. So that's not reasonable. So with that said, Terence Crawford is now saying if Tszyu sends him a contract, he's willing, get this, not just to fight Tszyu, but to go to Australia, the down under. He's looking to go to Australia. You heard me. He has stated to his team he is willing to go to Australia, the down under, and fight Tszyu. Says that he's always wanted to fight in Australia. Now he wants to go there and fight Tszyu. Now, Terence Crawford been in this position before, where Terence Crawford beat Julius Ndongo for undisputed at 140, and then he activated his WBO mandatory position, his right to petition to challenge the champion, a weight class above him, who holds a WBO title, which happened to be Jeff Horn. The plan was to chase 8-division world champion, legendary, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny "Pat-Man" Pacquiao, who was the WBO champion. That was the plan, to petition the WBO and chase Manny Pacquiao. But Manny Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn and lost, shockingly, in Australia, the down under, to Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn became the champion. Terence Crawford activated anyway, fought Jeff Horn and knocked Jeff Horn out, an Australian undefeated fighter. Now, Tszyu is a bigger superstar than Jeff Horn. So his first fight at 147 was Jeff Horn. Now his first fight at 154 can be Tszyu for the WBO title. And so that's what he's looking to do. He's looking to activate that clause, that right, and challenge Tszyu. And this is a very winnable fight for Terence Crawford. Tszyu is a historically slow starter. He's not very big, at 5'8", 70-inch arm reach. He's similar in stature to Canelo Alvarez. And that's ultimately Terence Crawford's goal, is to get to Canelo Alvarez. And he has a similar style. He's not as explosive and as fast with his hands and twitchy as Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is far more slick. Canelo Alvarez has faster hands. He has, to me, a higher ring IQ. And Canelo Alvarez is sharper with his punches and more accurate with his punches. But in stature and size, they're similar. And so that's Terence Crawford's ultimate goal, is to go to 168, fight and beat Canelo Alvarez, and become undisputed in 3 separate weight classes. Initially, he wanted to fight Jermell Charlo and become undisputed in 3 separate weight classes. So now Terence Crawford is willing to go to Australia, fight Tszyu. That is very risky, because if he don't knock out Tszyu in Australia, he could very well lose. Now, he did go to the UK for his first title opportunity, and he beat Ricky Burns, right? And he won a decision. He didn't knock out Ricky Burns. He won a decision. In this case, with Tszyu, he's way more popular than Ricky Burns. He's undefeated, and it's a completely different challenge. Now, Terence Crawford has knocked out and stopped his last 9 opponents. His last 8 opponents at welterweight, and Julius Ndongo at junior welterweight. And Tszyu can be had. Terence Crawford is very crafty. He's very versatile. He has power in both hands, and he's twitchy. He's athletic. I think that he could definitely beat Tszyu. But to fight Tszyu in Australia is extremely risky, and it's a risk that Terence Crawford is looking to take. Wow. Wow. Now, I know people are saying, why is he chasing Tszyu instead of fighting the undefeated, newly crowned IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, the phenom, as I refer to him, as Jaron Boots Ennis, who is 31 wins, no loss, no draw, 28 big wins by way of knockout, and 26 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. I love that style matchup. But fighting Tszyu creates history for Terence Crawford immediately. It immediately makes him a 4-division champion, okay? He fights and beats Jaron Ennis. It's a unification. I guess you can say it's an undisputed match, but it's in the same weight class. It's not viewed the same. If he goes up and he fights Tszyu at a higher weight class and becomes a 4-division champion and undisputed in 2 separate weight classes, that speaks volumes for his career, and as he's on his way to turning 37. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. So all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.